gender lens is crucial because I think gender influences health outcomes and experiences in so many ways. For example, gender often has an influence on the incidence, severity, and prevalence of many health conditions. Women and men have different experiences of healthcare due to different gender biases and stereotypes, and often gender intersects with other social determinants of health, such as race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status.
There's an IMF study that states that women are underrepresented in all spheres of the global financial system, from borrowers to depositors to board members and regulators. I think we're pretty clear on the benefits of financial inclusion for women. It leads to economic growth, but also has broader societal benefits. For me, what was interesting was that the study looked at the problem from the private sector perspective. Banks with more women on the board had greater capital reserves and were more resilient in times of stress. And the same is true where there were more female regulators. I think this strengthens the case for including women in all spheres of the global financial system. It not only leads to economic growth, but also financial stability.
Climate finance that is gender responsively sustainable outcomes. This is through better land management as well as environmental management, improved food security, and resilience to climate change by empowering women and girls. By incorporating gender lens into my work, I'm able to promote gender equality, effectiveness, and sustainability, as well as ensure that there is a just and equitable future for generations to come.
Applying a gender lens to my work matters because it allows us to assess how political structures and social norms impact the lives of both men and women and the opportunities available to them. It therefore provides us with a foundation to which we can use to target women and address the issues that result in women being deprived of equal opportunities in accessing financial services.
So women and girls are often disproportionately affected by development challenges. And so applying a gender lens in the work that we do and in the methodologies that we propose to our clients ensures that women and girls are in fact intentionally sought out to shape development outcomes.
Access to technology can improve women's access to education, employment opportunities, even financial services. This is why at Code, we ensure that gender lens is incorporated into our work. And the opportunities that we highlight and the stakeholders that we speak to and the disaggregated markers that we look at in our data analysis, and also including a specific gender sensitivity in our recommendations and conclusions to our clients.
Applying a gender lens in my work is important because it helps myself, the people I work with, and the people I work for identify and address the barriers that limit women's achievements. And by doing so, we can help women realize their unlocked potential.
It is essential to the financial services work that I do, especially from a financial inclusion perspective, because it takes into account the differences and disparities between genders in terms of access to financial services, financial education and awareness, and economic opportunities involved. A gender lens approach helps to identify these gaps and work towards addressing them to create a more inclusive financial systems. Thank you.
In my work, I always aim to welcome people of different backgrounds. I strongly believe that considering the unique perspectives and experiences of everyone builds a well-rounded, diverse, and absolutely successful teams.
Applying a gender lens is important to my work because it helps us to measure and articulate impact in a way that considers how different genders are differently impacted. And I think also really importantly ensures that our solutions don't unintentionally exacerbate gender inequalities. I also think that applying a gender lens to the way that we work is important because it helps us to think more carefully about how to create a safe and respectful work environment for people of different genders.
I believe that clients are seeing an increasing importance of gender equality in their strategies as well as their operations. And therefore, by applying a gender-specific lens to the work that I do, it shows that I do have a clear understanding of the client needs, but also that I can deliver effective solutions.
Applying a gender lens in my line of work is really important. I'm able to take a holistic approach in developing solutions by identifying and addressing the gender-specific needs and opportunities, and thus able to develop solutions that contribute towards positive gender outcomes.
Do you know that every week, around 5,000 girls and young women between the age of 15 and 24 become infected with HIV? Do you know that transgender women are 14 times more likely to acquire HIV compared to their cisgender counterparts? If we fail to apply a gender lens to the HIV response, we will fail to end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030.
Well, I believe that there's a growing recognition that targeted developmental aid or assistance cannot take a gender neutral or a one-size-fits-all approach when giving the capital or development capital, because it risks perpetuating gender inequality. So our task as consultants is therefore to ensure that development capital is used to effectively change structural inequality if it is to be effective in practice.
The Arab States region has the second widest gender gap in the world, and as an Arab woman, it's important for me to add a gender transformative lens to the work that I do in an attempt to unlock value specifically in the Middle East.
Most firm leadership positions are occupied by men. If we were to break up this boys' club, does that make collusion less likely? If so, then increased gender representation is a potential competition policy tool. These and other gender-related questions are being addressed in this burgeoning area of competition policy design. Over time, as these policies develop, applying a gender lens to my work in competition and regulatory economics will become increasingly important.
Well, it matters because it ensures inclusion and fairness of both men and women and genders across the spectrum, and ensures that in the planning, analysis, and execution of projects that we've carefully considered all the needs of all genders. And this entails considering people first, so looking at the people within the project team. Are there an adequate representation of all genders? People in the room where decisions are being made, is that representative as well? The beneficiaries of the work, have we carefully considered the needs and circumstances of all genders when we're designing a project to benefit a particular target population or target group? Then we also need to consider also the processes within the project, especially at the key steps, which is the planning, designing, implementation, and so forth. Is it inclusive? Are the processes inclusive of everyone? Is everyone also involved in all of those key steps? And have we carefully considered the needs of all genders? And so I think in a nutshell, we really, it matters because we're ensuring inclusion of everyone.
Because everyone deserves an opportunity, and in our work in the MENA region, where around half of the population is female, having a gender lens is a roadmap for sustainability and inclusion.
Hi everyone, I thought I'd just give a quick view of how gender shows up in a project context work for us and shared value. It's a key part of inclusion and diversity pieces. It's also a key element in the social pillar of ESG work, so all of our frameworks, target setting and similar, incorporate a gender lens through the social pillar. And a lot of that's driven by countries' national development plans and other national, regional and global targets. And certainly we believe a lot of change on gender targets needs to come through the private sector and must be enabled by it. So we're very pleased to be working on it quite often in our projects and very directly.
Applying a gender lens allows us to correctly identify some of the impediments to the solutions that we provide. It is also important to ensure that the solutions that we provide do incorporate or do consider the views across the different genders as well. By doing all this, we should be able to come up with more effective solutions that are both inclusive and non-discriminatory.
Women make up a significant yet undervalued proportion of the workforce in sectors like agriculture and manufacturing, specifically in the young world. Adopting a gender lens to prioritize equal access to technology, to resources and spending power can increase economic growth and improve livelihoods along with it.
As you can imagine, climate change is not gender neutral. The way an individual experiences climate change will be determined by factors like social norms or roles. Therefore, understanding the interplay between gender issues and climate change is of critical importance to identify mitigation and adaptation strategies. In a recent project, we have supported the government of Zambia to develop a climate implementation plan, and that entails, among other things, looking at ways of mainstreaming gender issues in the different sectors, as well as formulating KPIs in a gender-sensitive way.
By applying a gender lens to our work, we ensure that our Delta strategy is inclusive and address the unique financial needs and constraints that women face. This is not only benefits women, but also makes good business sense by unlocking the untapped potential and driving economic growth in Africa.
A gender lens is important in social sectors financing to ensure that women and girls and also even vulnerable boys are not left behind when interventions are being designed and are being rolled out.
Applying a gender lens in my work matters to me because it is an important consideration that impacts how individuals experience and interact with the world. To me, owning this lens can lead to the development of inclusive solutions and strategies that address diverse needs and challenges, ultimately leading to more equitable outcomes. Thank you.